Somebody had asked me, I'm in here late this evening answering mail, and somebody asked me, and this is in reference to, listen to them very closely, politics, but they're asking a question, and they're not having any ill will behind it whatsoever at all. They're just asking a sincere, honest question. So therefore, I'm going to give a sincere, honest answer. And of course, what they say is, Donald Trump is going to AIPAC, okay? And you have all of these well-organized organizations. And he says, why is it that blacks, and that's the term that they're using, and we can understand that, in America does not have well-organized organizations. Now, I'll answer this question. Now, there are some organizations out there, none of them that I would have a lick of trust in, any of them whatsoever at all, the black organizations. And the reason being is because, as a pastor, I follow the scriptures. I'm an Israelite. I'm a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which Christianity doesn't want you to know. And the modern day seed of Japhet, who are not Shemitic, they don't want you to know that either, because they've stolen my culture, my language, my heritage, my nationality, and us from our land, from the land of Canaan and the land of Ham, and brought us over here on slave ships and abused us. Now, what the problem is this. The problem is this. The problem is the curses that is in Deuteronomy 28. You see, my people, we are in the condition that we're in today simply because Israelites, throughout all the history, if you don't believe me, go pick up the Bible and read it for yourself. It seems like my people have a love affair with slavery. And you know how we get into that slavery? Disobedience. You know the reason why that we are in the condition that we in today, that we don't even know who we are and we can't join together? Well, it's simply because we don't want to keep his laws, his statutes, and commandments. And so therefore, the curses that are written in Deuteronomy 28, starting in verse 15 all the way down through verse 68, it actually speaks to, it's a prophetic passage right there, because it speaks to our condition as a people. And when you look at my people, we have a history of captivity. We have been in slavery starting from Egypt, and then from there we went into the Assyrian captivity, and then we went into the Babylonian captivity. Now you had the house of Israel going to the Assyrian captivity. Then you had the Babylonians going to, then you had hold on. You had the house of Israel go into the Assyrian captivity. I got a lot of things going on in my mind right now. And then you had Judah going to the Babylonian captivity. It was 200-something thousand of us went into the Assyrian captivity. Not all Israelites went into slavery in the Assyrian captivity, nor did all the Israelites go into slavery in the Babylonian captivity. What these occupying nations did was leave the poorest of our people in the land for vine dressers. So therefore, all the surrounding nations, Edom, you got the Canaanites, the Moabites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and all these people, what they did was they went in and they squatted and they started occupying the land of Judea. And people became known as Judeans, in which that term is metamorphosed all the way up till the time now to where people are using a term that never referred to the ancient Israelites that Moses led out of Egypt. But when you look at my people being in the Egyptian slavery, the Assyrian slavery, the Babylonian slavery, the Medes and the Persian slavery, the Greek and the Roman slavery, and then the Trans-Sahara slave trade, when the Arabs over there in that land and enslaved my people, and then you look at the transatlantic slave trade. All this stuff you're not taught in history. And you never will be taught, because the people who occupy our lands, the conquerors, write history. And the truth is whatever they want to make it. And it's unpopular to tell this story in this account. And so when you look at the condition of blacks in this country, We have envy in our heart, too much envy in our heart. What's amazing about my people is we won't be as passionate fighting against the devil or fighting against our own common enemy as we will each other. And as a result, that's the reason why you see Chicago, the death capital of the United States of America, along with other cities where my people occupy the majority of the ghettos and the projects and things like that, because they have been robbed of a knowledge of self. We were forbidden, and this is what people forget. We were forbidden to read. We were forbidden to write. And if we ever tried to learn how to read and write, we would get hung, lynched. And so, when the Europeans, they would just take our women and our children and commit miscegenation with them. They will sodomize our men and stuff. And so, and we're dealing with a generation now where true history has not been put in front of them. And so we don't have a knowledge of self. And then all of us that stand up to speak about who we are as a people and try to get us to return to the old past and the old landmarks, we have been so immersed with the Gentile culture of America that my people of the book, by bloodline, have no desire whatsoever at all to even return, to even desire to actually repent. The book says in 2 Chronicles 7:14, it says, if my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and seek my face. And see, that's what we won't do. We won't do it because we have too much envy in our hearts. When you look at, we're not the majority. We're only about maybe 10 to 11% of the whole entire population of the United States of America. But then when you look at the demographics that actually dominate sports, what do? They spend it on foolishness. They have no desire to learn about who they are or to restore the culture and our heritage, our language, our nationality. Everything's been stolen from us, and we can't come together because they have bowed down and have bitten of the fruit of the lies of the almighty dollar. Now, do I know how to organize a legitimate organization? Sure I do. I sure do. But you can't do it. You know the reason why? Because with my people, and when I speak about my people, I'm speaking about those who have a hue to their skin naturally. Now, my people spiritually are those who accept the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's my brother and my sister. Be you Yehudim or be you Greek. Makes no difference to me because now I get some of my people that disagree with that. It makes no difference. And you have to be filled with his ruach. But I'm speaking on natural terms and senses here. I know how to do it. I know how to do it, and I actually know how to actually put together a very nice board to know how to do it. But you can't get those of us who are called blacks, those of us who have two designations in this country, African and American. You just can't get us together because everybody wants to be in charge. Nobody wants to submit. And everybody has a bad, foul attitude. And so therefore, that's why you only see just a few of us. We're only small in number, and that's it. But because that's the only way in this world today that my people are going to receive any type of legitimacy whatsoever at all is when we actually organize and come together under one banner of truth. And, it's hard for Congress to ignore if you have 25 million people all contributing to one cause. That's where you get legislative power. That's where you get the power of influence. That's when you receive respect when you're under the captivity and occupation of the Goyim or the Gentiles. Other than that, nobody's going to hear about your peaceful protest. We shall overcome. And you go walk down the street and hold up banners and stuff. They know you're going home in a few days. That's why I told people over and over again when Occupy Wall Street was going. I said, it don't mean nothing. They tearing up stuff don't mean nothing because, these people are in power. And power concedes nothing. And power corrupts absolutely. And when power is not conceding nothing, that means everybody under its rulership and under its thumb is going to acquiesce to whatever their dictates and mandates are. But my people as a whole, sincerely, we just ain't got enough sense. We ain't got enough sense. I would hate to see a prophet like Elijah or Moses come up on this scene, because you know what we'll do? The way our mind is right now, we will repeat the same mistakes of the past again as a whole. And you would only have a few people in the midst of my people that would only have a voice to be able to hear, but their voice will be so small that you wouldn't be able to distinguish them from anybody else when they're crying against everybody else that has agreed to crucify the Holy One of Israel. It's just a sad situation. It speaks to our poor condition. And so that's the reason why that we have no power of influence and no power of legislation. Because the one thing I definitely wouldn't do is get, now I'm not meaning anything disparaging or negative, but the people, you know, my people who have been in Hollywood, they've gone too far into this world. And see, you've got to have just people, just rulers that's going to actually submit to what those scriptures say in order to bring this thing forward. And so that's the reason why that the blacks in this country in the condition they're in, because we, having a history of slavery, have always been a disobedient and gainsaying people. And the Most High Yah that's gathered us, he going to be the one that gathers, but he ain't gathering everybody. He's only gathering the ones that are filled with his Ruach HaKodesh, what is commonly called the Holy Spirit, and the ones who's keeping his commandments. And that's just it, period. It's sad, but it's just the truth. And I'm sure I'm going to have many disparaging comments. I'm sure that many people are going to do everything they can to try to speak against what I said. But all you have to do is open up the Bible and see for yourself to see that I'm telling the truth. Like I said, I'll say it again. Do I know how to do it? Sure I do. I even know how to get Israelites together in common unity to where they can start making a living for themselves and not so much depend upon the system. And we're the prime example here, straightway, to show that it can be done. I've got people coming from all different ethnic backgrounds coming at my feet to want to learn how to do communities the right way. Now, most people, they come and then they get their own ideals and then they try to do it another way, and then they fail because they're not sticking with the blueprint. We stick with the blueprint as we know is going to work here in this generation. And it would behoove you to be wise if you want to go this route. But again, nobody has the desire, nor the ambition, nor the stomach or intestinal fortitude to live a set apart life in this day. If we did, we would be a powerful people. But, you know, I would have to actually do some very serious screening of people to set them up. But until we have that, and until we have someone who actually has some money, you know what I mean? Because we're not getting any reparations. The Jews get reparations. The Indians get reparations. Everybody else in the world has got reparations. But we're not getting any reparations. Do you know the reason why we're not getting reparations? You go back to the curses of Deuteronomy 28. So we're the Most High Yah's people after the flesh. And that's the reason why we're in the condition that we're in. I know full well, and that's the reason why that I don't go out dogging people all over the place for them behaving the way that they're behaving and doing what they're doing, because I know the condition. I know what the book says, and I'm not going to sit there and fight against Yah. What I'm going to do is be obedient and continue to watch the blessings of the Most High Yah. Not only bless my people, but bless those who come in and be a part of Israel. And I end with this: and all Israel shall be saved. So I hope I said something to stimulate thought. It's a painful truth, but it's the university of painful truth, but it is the truth. And only a few of us are going to get it, and only a few are going to enter in. So I hope I answered your question, and probably many other people out there had the same question as well. But anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, a peaceful evening. Shalom. The King's coming. Y'all be encouraged, all right? Be encouraged.